And welcome back to here, the Rinkside Cam on Peacock.
Welcome back to here.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's where I am. I think you are
You've
too.
You've been here a long time.
I've been here a long time.
Yeah.
I have Jackie Wong with me, rocker skating.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining me for the men's event. Actually, the men's practice.
Yeah.
We're getting
It's basically the event.
That's it. We're getting ourselves primed and ready. What are we looking for out here?
We're looking for some jumps.
Yeah. So guess what? Not many fizzles.
It's time.
Yeah, it's time to see some jumps. I'm really excited to see what these men are bringing to the table. I'm excited to see how Kao handles this warm-up too. I think it's gonna be really interesting. I know he's had like a really conservative last couple days, and he's so explosive. So I think that we haven't really seen his potential yet this week. So I'm excited to see what we can get, and anything in particular, anyone in particular, you're looking forward to seeing.
I think today Donovan CARRILLO. Just seeing what he's gonna bring to the table in terms of the showmanship and all that. I mean, he's gonna turn on.
Cool. I'm so excited. Well, with that being said, let's see who's on the ice. So these men are getting underway here, setting themselves up. I'm really, like I said, excited to see what these guys are gonna bring to the table. There's such a strong group of men at this event, and there's so many different qualities that are being brought. If you have any questions too for Jackie and myself, send them on X at US Figure Skating. We're gonna do our best throughout these warm-ups here to answer them and give you as much insight as we possibly can on what we're seeing and what we're thinking.
I think that's the thing that I've always loved about the men's event. Well, not always. That I've loved about the men's event for the last maybe 10 to 15 years is that the personalities are so different, and the way that these programs show who they are as people and as skaters, it just like every single program I feel like is something different and is something unique to them.
I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, I think you're absolutely right with that. And I think what's so important is when you're seeing these skaters lean into who they are and their strengths. I'm a big advocate of strengthening your strengths. Obviously, you want to be a well-rounded skater and strengthen those weaknesses, but you're only going to get points for what you're good at, realistically. So I think that what's super cool is when you see skaters leaning into what they're comfortable with and like really maximizing their potential of that. And I think that in this group of people, you're getting so many different personalities, from Lucas to Donovan to even Max. And then also you're having two phenomenal Japanese skaters out here with us right now. And Wesley with Canada. So just like such a different group of people, personalities, and skaters, and I'm really thrilled to see what they're going to bring to the table.
There is 1 minute remaining in this warm-up before music will be played in the following order: Donovan CARRILLO from Mexico, followed by Maxim Naumov.
I'm sure folks are seeing this also in the practices. the amount of actual costume wearing during practices for the single skaters is much less than it is for the for ice dancers especially.
Yeah.
But I do think a big part of it was what we were talking about yesterday, where you do get very sweaty in these
Oh yeah.
quick 30-40 minute practices, and you don't want a wet costume during the day.
No, it's not fun. It is not an enjoyable experience, and even Ashley and I were touching on that with the pairs about wearing costumes, because someone had asked, like, why do pairs or dancers wear costumes more than the men? And I think a lot of it comes down to, like, for when you're skating with a partner, just to feel that difference, because the material does make a difference, and where the skirts lie and lifts, and just when you're doing things around the neck. And I think these guys want to really put themselves just in a place of comfort, because when they put their costumes on, it doesn't make them feel that much different.
Yeah.
Skating first, we have Donovan.
The subject for tonight's lecture is rhythm. The beat. The driving force that holds our lives together. And so tonight, we say, hip hip, chin chin, the rhythm's action. The beat, the beat, the beat, the beat.
Wow, I have not seen him warm up any jumps yet, so going with the quads out right at the beginning.
Wow. That builds some trust and confidence.
Yep.
That definitely builds that.
He's on top of his skate a lot more today than he was yesterday. Already you can see that from that one jump. Same thing. I mean, he made the mistake there, but it's a good adjustment from what he did yesterday for sure.
I find it really interesting, this like a sidebar on this, is and some of these athletes that wear smartwatches when they're training, just to kind of have a regulation of their heartbeat. I mean, I don't think they're out there wearing those to check their text messages or Instagram or anything like that. They might be checking your tweets, but I will say it's so interesting. Like that was something I wish I had always done, not necessarily with the smartwatch, but like kind of wear a heart rate monitor on a practice like this, because that regulation of your heart rate is so important.
I do remember when I was skating back in the day, there was a lot of debate about whether or not to wear a watch. And these weren't even smart watches; these were like regular watches. It's kind of like for jewelry purposes.
Yeah.
So it's like it is a different kind of thing now to wear a smartwatch for actual performance purposes. Versus like, wear a watch because I wear it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the amount of energy that we put out there, and I think that like there's so much studies behind like just that heart rate variability, and also just like managing that heart rate throughout your day and trying to make sure you stay in that relaxed state when you're going into this stress state for when you're skating. Love a good double knee slide, as you mentioned the other day.
Yes.
Fun little moment for him there, and for us.
And this is also fresh ice, so he's
yeah,
less likely to be cutting your knees with that. I'm surprised they haven't made any sort of like bunker pad for knees for knee slides.
Yeah, there's so many like little tips and tricks that people do in terms of hiding those things. The guys can hide it a lot more. It's harder for those girls with the tights.
Right.
The women with the tights.
Skating now, Maxim Naumov, representing the United States of America, to be followed by BROUSSARD.
That was a nice. I think that's a confidence booster for him. some ice dance.
Skating now, Luca Broussard, representing the United States of America, to be followed by Koshiro Shimada.
It's time to ooh and ah again.
I'm ready. Just like the emphasis on detail for the turnout of his foot on that particular slid spire.
But these are all reinforcing good habits for
Yes,
Luca.
so much. Earlier on the stream, I referenced that when I watch skating, and when I work with skaters, I want to see Michelin star, not McDonald's, in a way that I love.
Just some, like Luca's just now, where the camel position is one stretched out, but two like in a very good sort of leveling of that's the upper body and the lower body.
Yeah, it's like very balanced,
Yeah.
right? The quality of his movement, I just love it so much. I'm such a Koshiro fan. I love the way he gets from A to B with not just his transitions, but even within his movements themselves.
This is really a quality group. First group. That was interesting there. I would have loved to have seen him take that pattern closer to this end of the wing that we're sitting on. He really cut it a little bit short, and it felt like just compositionally, it would have been a bigger space.
Yeah, we would have filled more of that lobe in the bottom corner then.
See, again, right? Like that was also, he didn't take it all the way to the end.
We could use it like 3 more feet, and it would just touch that. Like we'd be getting that corner part of the audience, feeling that performance level that he really omits.
Okay, yeah.
Like the corner he uses there, I love it.
Right. Yeah. He goes onto that corner much more.
Yeah.
Cuts this side off. There we go.
Yeah, that's better. When I talk about that Michelin star kind of quality, though, like I feel like he genuinely really cares about every moment of this. I know he's not jumping as much in this right now, which I know can make it a totally different beast, but I really feel as though he's getting himself prepped up to just have to add the jumps.
It's the service and the planing. The planing's there.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. They gave me a free dessert, everything. Oh, that. Give me that moment. Yes, like just that moment. I know he stopped skating there, but I know he was like living that moment.
Yeah.
Good quality skating. Like, I like it.
Representing Canada, to be followed by Nozomu YOSHIOKA.
Up next, we have Wesley Chiu.
Another stretched out camel.
I like it. If I had like a leveler, it'd be the bubble would be right in the middle.
Right. This is big music.
Very big.
Yeah.
It's a lot to fill.
I think when he gets, I've seen him somewhat clean on this program, and when he gets clean, it does really work. It's a lot of.
I can imagine second half of this too, right here. I think would be like audience with a clean skate.
Yeah.
It's so hard. Like you can lose so much of the impact of a program if you just have a couple mistakes or even one mistake. You lose the beauty because everyone feels the excitement then if it's clean, or when it's clean, I should say.
That step sequence does go on for quite a while because that ending part of the music requires all of it.
Completely agree. I would love to feel like when I watch him a little bit more like facial engagement, just a little bit, because I feel like the movements are great.
Yeah.
Skating now, Nozomu YOSHIOKA from Japan.
forward outside twizzle there.
Yeah, and it was like almost in a shoot the dog.
Yeah.
That's very hard.
And it's interesting talking about the positions that he goes
There are
into.
4 minutes remaining
I do think
in this practice session.
Nozomu has a lot of almost their qualities about him and his skating. That if, like some of that, especially that last spin, just taking a look at like how he holds some of those positions and also the way that he comes out of it. If he just kind of made a couple of adjustments, those can go from good to great.
I agree completely. I find like his music is so powerful, especially the last part of it. And I feel like now I know he may not be fully committed to it right now.
Right.
But I'd love to see that come through, because when it feels like the skater isn't matching the energy of the music, I think it's really tough.
Yeah. Max Naumov has been drilling those triple axles this session, looking good.
His face after that one, he was like, "Ooh, that was pretty good." I think he liked it.
I still don't know how he lands. He lands very flat-footed.
Like you hear it.
You can hear his.
Bop.
Yeah. He's not one of those guys who's going to get an under rotation call on a clean looking jump because he does not land on his toe. He lands right on the middle of his blade.
Yeah. I mean, like that's got to be not feeling great on the hip and the ankle for sure, and the knee when you don't absorb that much. I mean, he's just taking brute force, but
Yep.
he makes it work.
There was a question about factoring of component scores, right? Explain the factoring differences between the technical score enthusiasts between men's and women's single skate. So the way that the factoring works is that the men's program component scores actually have a higher multiplier relative to the women. So you see that with the actual scores, right? Where for example in the short program, if you get 10s across the board for the women, you max out at 40 points. Versus if you get 10s across the board for the men, you max out at 50 points. And so the reason, or at least the original reasoning for that, is that the technical pieces for the men are scored higher, right? And so being able to try to balance the technical and the component marks more, the component mark is then bumped up more relative to the technical scores, so that you don't get a huge discrepancy between the technical and the program components. But the problem with that is that the technical for the men have gotten so high that that factor doesn't really it hasn't made up for the difference quite as much. I don't know what the solution to that is, to be honest, and I think part of it is they were really trying to balance the technical and the component marks such that it's, if you had a clean program, it would be like 50-50. But it's not that anymore. You look at a clean program for like an Ilia Malinin, and your technical free skate score ends up being like 120 something, and you only max out at 100 for the component score. So it's something I know that they're trying to fix or trying to find a solution to, but it's mathematically not so easy.
We've been asked how much can performance and musicality be learned and trained versus being born with it. Donovan is such a showman. You're right, he is such a showman. Maybe it's Maybelline. I believe that, I really do believe that all athletes can learn how to have that performance and musicality, and it can be trained. Obviously, some of the athletes are born with it, and it's just more comfortable for them. I think at the end of the day, that's a choreographer's responsibility to try to find a way to bring that skater out within the performance, whether that be an emotional piece or a fun piece or all the ones in between. But I think that I do think that it's definitely teachable, and I do think that all athletes can learn. It's just a matter of how much discomfort they're willing to put themselves in, because the amount of vulnerability that comes with that level of performance. Now, being more neutral when I skate, I give you the opportunity to judge my technique, and what I'm producing is that. When I judge you based off of my performance and like what I'm producing, it's merely a part of myself that I'm putting into this skate. So it's a little bit scarier, because I'm allowing you as a spectator or a judge to judge me personally in my production of performance, if that checks out in any way for you. So I think that it is teachable. I think that you can train it. I think it's very hard, but I do think it's possible. Absolutely.
I think an interesting corollary to that one is Alyssa Liu. I don't know if anybody's seen. I'm assuming you're all hardcore fans listening to this practice session, so you probably have at least heard of the fact that Alyssa Liu is coming back from retirement, and the sheer difference between even 2 years ago, when she had already made a lot of improvements in her general artistry and musicality, to an early season competition of her comeback year, is just amazing, right? Like, she's grown so much, but it's that thing you were talking about where she was kind of born with that natural charisma, and now over the years it's been refined, and she's learned how to be more musical and be more of a performer and be more sophisticated in her movements. And so anyway, I think my point is, if you're curious, go and find Alyssa Liu, 2021 or something, and then watch again what she's been able to put out this year already, and you can see the way that what Jean-luc was talking about, where there's the born with it aspect and the learned aspect of it.
Yeah, and I think Jackie really touched on the refined part of it. I think at the end of the day, if you look at a bunch of kids, like 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, and they're playing, every one of them's going to have fun. You put music on, they don't care. They're going to dance, they're going to jump around. And then over time, particularly in a judged sport, you are afraid to still explore that, because when you're a child, you don't care. You really could care less. You don't even understand what judgment really is yet. So I think that someone like Alyssa went through a journey of kind of her career so far, and then I think she's really finding who she is. And now she's comfortable with the fact and loving of the fact of who she is, and she's letting that be in her performance. And you can then find that in every piece of music, just refining it in a direction that you'd like. So on the ice now, we have our second group. Another very exciting group here. We have Kao out on the ice. Ilia's out here. Deniss, a couple of really great skaters as well. We're going to look at today's schedule. Right now, we have the second group of men's on. Followed after this, we're going to have the women's practice. And then after that, it's game time. Ice Dance Rhythm Dance starts at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time on Peacock. And later today, you'll be able to see the pairs free skate at 2:40 p.m. Central Standard Time on Peacock.
Today's the big day.
That's right. Let's do it.
We're all going to be exhausted after this.
Oh, yeah. And I'm not even out there doing the thing. If you have any questions for Jackie or myself, please send them to X at US Figure Skating. We're trying to scroll through this, watch as much skating, give our insight as all the things come in. So please ask away.
There was one question yesterday that I was going to ask you, but didn't, because we ran out of time. How do you see practice sessions versus actual competition, and like how the two of them kind of interact?
Oh, I guess it depends on which practice session too, like day of or day before. I'd say like if we're referencing what we're watching right now, day of, I think that you're going to see significantly more. I call them like horse blinders. Like when you see a jockey race, they have them on. These guys are in their zone. They're putting themselves in that space. The drive, the seriousness. They are not as chill. They might be relaxed, but they're not like, oh, it's cool, it's practice. Like, no, we're leaning into game time now. And then that's, again, just to prep themselves up so it's not just a shock for themselves later on when it's time to perform for the short program.
Yeah. And there's some skaters who really are consistently, like, if they have a bad practice, you know they're going to have a bad competition. And then there are some who aren't. And I talked about this yesterday. Livia Kaiser yesterday had an awful practice, and she went out there and skated a pretty good short program, and I've seen that from her multiple times where she would just bomb a practice and then go out and skate clean, and not every skate, a lot, that's not the usual with skaters, I think.
It's hard. It's a big mental game. He got half of his jacket here.
I was about to say,
yeah.
How do we interpret this costume?
Well, I don't know what airline he flew on, but maybe he lost the other half. It's interesting.
I kind of dig it.
Yeah, I'm not mad about it. I wish it was tacked down a little bit more on his hip, not gonna lie. It's a little distracting for me.
But like, is the point that he's trying to be both partners in the dance?
Would love to see that. Like a Ryan Bradley playing both partners. He would do that.
I mean, that half jacket looks like it's about to fall off.
That's what I mean. It's only tacked on the front and the back, and I find that it's just pulling me. The fact that we've only talked about that
for the first minute of this
program.
program.
And it's a shame because I don't get to see his skating as much.
It's a shame because what I have seen of his skating is actually really fun.
Yes.
Like, he's been very musical in this first half. Maybe they'll tack it on more.
Would love that. Just a little bit. Like a little loss of balance there, maybe a little dizzy, or I don't know. Felt the rotation of the earth.
A little bit of partnering there.
Yeah. A little rough around the edges on that cluster.
I think he's got a lot going for him. I mean, obviously, first year as a senior.
Yes.
And it was kind of like what I was talking about with Yoshioka, where the qualities are there, and I think just a few improvements is going to make a huge difference.
I think so.
But that cluster of turns that you were just talking about there was just it was a lot of ankle action versus hip action.
Yeah.
And so everything looked just a little bit rushed.
Yeah, I need all three to work together. Skating now, Deniss.
I don't know why I still think about him with his ponytail.
Yeah, I think he looks awesome. The ponytail served him, but I think it's time.
The ponytail is also sometimes very distracting.
Oh, yeah.
I could watch him spin all day. He's and then he goes out of the spin. But still.
I know, it's just like the quality that he produces is Michelin star. That's like, you know what I mean though? Like you see it, like I love, it's exquisite for me. Particularly in the long program. He's really going for like not a performative walkthrough on this one. I think he's getting himself set up.
Yeah, you can see him looking down a lot.
Yeah, you just like, I think he's looking for his points. He's looking for his cue points.
Deniss is not usually the type of skater who does a lot of looking down on the ice because he does project a lot, and that's what you were talking about earlier, sort of trying to get in the game zone for him.
Yeah, I think he's just getting this one. This one is not that later isn't for him, but this one is really for him right now, and he's just making sure that he knows that his body knows what to do, and that his mind is aligned with that. So then later on, I'm sure he's gonna let this thing go. Just revving the engine before we start it, right?
I really like both of these programs for Deniss this season. Two different styles, two things that works really well for him, and still a push for him artistically.
Yeah, it's not fully in his comfort zone,
Yeah.
which I think is excellent pre-Olympic year for him.
It's the time for it.
Here we have Kevin from France. What a performer he is. Speaking of musicality, mark the opening jump.
Yeah, he hasn't warmed up the plateau yet.
Seeing him skate around, I'm also able to see some of the audience members here watching, and some of them have smiles on their face already, just through the small transitions that he's been doing. Kevin has that effect, similar to Donovan, just to really get the people. He's like a people skater. He gets you engaged. I'm excited to see him later, really hoping that he pieces it all together for us, but really for himself. I think that he needs those solid skates to just build on that confidence and trust.
I do think this is the... he's got that triple lutz in. on the side. I love it when triplexes go to the short side of the rink versus the long side, because you just don't see it.
You don't expect it at all.
But it is interesting. This is the third practice we've seen him on, and none of the 3 practices he's really put the jumps in.
Not a technically driven one.
Yeah, and it's not like what I've seen from him in past practices. So I'm not gonna read into it.
No.
But it is an observation for me.
Maybe it's going to be a new strategy that he's trying out. I know he really just loves performing and loves that side of things. So I think maybe what he's trying to get himself set up for too is just allowing himself to really enjoy that. Because I think the more that the more that Kevin enjoys what he does and he's into it, the jumps will work. Like, it's gonna help. Wow, it's like throwing himself around. Wow, entertaining.
Great program.
Skating now, Nika Egadze, representing Georgia, to be followed by Kao Miura.
Dude? No.
More Doom.
Is it, dude?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I want to see someone do Dune and hit the ice. Do a little sandworm calling.
Dune is such a thing.
No, it's not Dune. Okay, we're both
Dune.
wrong. Okay.
This is very
Unless there's
different.
a Frenchman in Dune.
Yep.
Bonjour.
Very different.
Yeah.
Which is very used to Dune.
Yeah, I was waiting for it. The opening.
Can someone
hymns
just
got
be
me.
the sandworm?
Would love it. I'd do it. Show program, maybe.
I'm sure we're gonna get some comments on X around like, how could you think that that was Dune?
Maybe. Sorry.
Marking those quads. I didn't see him warm up the quads quite yet. They were all triples so far. The step sequence is very much what I was referring to yesterday around him really working to make improvements on his musicality, and I think this step sequence is very effective for me.
Mm-hmm.
He hits all the notes, and he does it really well.
I think so. It's good. I think that we're in that like strong heavy beat for a while. That for me it kind of became a little monotonous. It lost the first initial impact for the next 30 seconds I really liked, but I felt like we stayed there a little long musically, and it was a step sequence for a while, so I got a little pulled out of it.
All right, Kao Miura, what you have not seen over the past 20 minutes is
Oh my
that,
gosh, already, that dynamicness.
but he has looked like a completely different skater today.
I think he's ready to play.
He's hit everything.
He's ready to play. This is what I'm so excited for. Just keep it in the pocket. Of skaters that attack, I don't know many people that go more than him.
I mean, he's
Oh
chaotic.
my gosh.
He's chaotic. That's
In the
what really he is.
He's like the Tasmanian devil, but in like a controlled way,
Yeah.
almost.
Controlled Tasmania.
That's it.
I mean, he has not been hitting jumps like that all week
No.
long, and something has clicked. Maybe he did wake up this morning and was like, this feels great.
I think, but there's also such determination, and like he knew he had the time. He had the time to get himself prepped. Like I said, starting these practices, these men are going to be in a different headspace than what they were the last 2 days. I think putting those blinders on
And
to
even,
just...
even the way that, like, his face
Oh,
feels different.
Oh,
right?
yeah, no. Like
everything.
I don't want to be in line with those eyes right now. Like I do, because I know how intense that is, and I love that so much about competition personally, is like, you just know you're going to make it happen, and nothing is going to stop you. And you can see that that's where he needs to put himself today, and this is the momentum he's going to have to carry through for the weekend.
All right.
Well, I think it's quite a few jumping passes already compared to the last couple
Yeah,
days.
totally. Another wonder, I think, choreographically continues to improve.
Yes.
And to your point earlier about playing to strengths and improving strengths, he's one of those guys who is assertive in his skating.
That's what I love so much. Like this step sequence right here, like if you're on the ice with him right now, like look at every single guy is circling. Every single guy on the ice. I know you can't see them, but there's a reason for that. They just know that the space is being commanded by Kao. This is his, oh my gosh. He's here to play.
I mean, I would run off the rink.
Oh,
because
I just want to follow. Like, I just want to see. Give me some of that energy. Because, like, that, when you're there, like, you can give yourself goosebumps because you just believe so
That's
much.
such, I mean, that kind of music can overwhelm a skater, and he almost overwhelms the music.
Yeah.
Like the other way around.
It's just absolutely insane watching him. Now we have Ilia.
Another very assertive skater.
Oh, very. I'm very excited to see how this pans out too. Very interested to see like what the gold on his maybe practice outfit is about. Like there's the gold bars. Wow. All right.
So the four on the bottom on his pants, that's 4 rotations.
Okay.
That's the quad.
Okay. Do
Not
you know
sure
what the
about
other two?
I guess there are 4 of them on his shirt, so I
Yeah.
don't know.
Oh, maybe.
Marking.
Now, in terms of practice, is that pretty common for Ilia to mark that many?
Yeah,
steps?
especially at the end.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He's done a good bit of skating already here.
Okay.
I know we haven't seen it on the
Cam.
feed,
Okay.
but I saw 3 quad lutz triple toes. I saw a couple quad flips.
Okay. So
Triple
he's
axels
putting in
are
the
there.
work.
Yeah, he's done everything that he needed to do already. So this is just about performance for him.
Nice. Speaking of like performance, like I know I've touched on it the past 2 days, but his quality of performance, like he knows that a year or 2 ago it was a weakness of his. It was not his strength. I mean, he was perceived as the quad god, and I know that's the name that he loves, but I just want him to be, I want him to step into that performance role, and that's exactly what he's doing, because then it's like much better as a well-rounded skater.
I think the thing that I've appreciated most about his improvements is that I do feel like the last couple of years there are times when his limbs, because they're longer limbs, they look like they're sort of flailing.
Yes.
And he's not holding, like there's no tension
Yes, so much.
in the core. And it's very different this year.
It's like you can see if you really analyze the way he's skating, not from his feet, but from the center, like from his hips, and not even from them moving back and forth. But every time he steps from back to front or front to back, like his body weight's always going in the direction that he wants to move. Like it's very clear that his movement's being driven from the hips, and then his arms and legs are now the extremity that are used as like a form of self-expression. It's very hard to get to that point.
I love that it's like there's the butterfly and the toe Arabian, and now he's done the raspberry and the toe raspberry.
Yeah. I don't know what's next. The blueberry? The gala apple. The honey crisp.
The durian.
Oh. Very exciting event. I am so excited to watch this later today.
It looks like it's going to be super good, and I'm glad to see especially that
Kao.
has come back.
Cowabunga.
Just the first couple of days was a little sketch.
It was like, uh-oh, is this gonna happen or
Right.
not? But it was so cool just to see him. He got on that ice, and you knew from the moment his foot touched the ice, today's his day. And even if his body doesn't want it, he's gonna make it his day. It's amazing how far you can go with like the power of your mind. Seriously. And I'm sure he's been doing recovery or anything, figured out the things that he needs to. So yeah, on the schedule, you can see up next we're gonna have the women's practice starting briefly after this men's practice is finished. These guys are just about to wrap up here. And then after that, we're going to have the Ice Dance Rhythm Dance live on Peacock. The event will start showtime, 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. Come check it out. It's going to be a great event.
Did you all talk about rink sizes earlier?
Well, we touchly briefed none of the dimensions at all, but we talked briefly just about the difference of like an NHL and Olympic size and how that makes such a difference, especially for like pairs lifts.
Yeah.
Like, and I can imagine the patterning for these guys, and I mean for all the skaters, it makes such a difference. And the corners within the rinks themselves are different. Sometimes you're getting flatter, sharper corners. These ones actually look kind of long. And it just makes a little bit of a different feel. Some can make you feel more narrow out there. Some feel wider than others, and it's just all a little different.
If you're long-time skating watchers, you know that there are some skaters who really try to skate to the boards. It is a thing that coaches push skaters to do, and it's not a coincidence that skaters end up jumping toward the boards, because they part of it is trying to extend as much of your ice coverage as possible, and then part of it is that I've seen coaches use the boards as a marker, kind of like how this is probably the closest corollary to it, kind of how dancers will use their head to spot during pirouettes. Boards are a way for people to better spot their own timing before they go up for a jump. And so there are some skaters who, if you put them in a rink where there are no boards, they could get completely disoriented. They have no idea what their timing is because they're so used to having boards there to help with their timing.
Yeah, and that's such a big thing. I mean, I know Caitlin and I used to use the markings on the board, so we'd come before our first practice and say, okay, going into our first twizzle, we're going to go towards the ISU World Sign 2025 on audience side closest to the kiss and cry. But then, like, we would pinpoint it down, like, I'll go towards the 25 of 2025, and she would go towards the I. Because, like, we want to keep that trajectory, knowing that once a twizzle or something like that set, we're keeping that angle the same. And just in reference to the ice size here, we're looking at 61 meters by 26 meters, which will come out to about 200 feet to 85 feet. and we're going to be seeing that at Olympic size would be the same length, but the width will be 15 feet wider.
Yeah, 100 by 200.
Yeah, exactly, and that width makes a big difference over time.
Competitors, your practice session has ended. Please leave the ice. We will now take a short break to resurface the ice to be followed by the ladies' free skate practice at 10:45.
All right, so that concludes our men's warm-up for the short program tonight. Thank you so much, Jackie. Everything has been so amazing. Thank you for doing this with me.
So fun.
Yeah, it was a great time. I am so excited for later. Anyone in particular, one more time, that you're excited to see? Give it to me. I know.
You know who it is.
Oh, Cowabunga.
It's Kao. It's
Let's
Kao.
go, Cal. I'm ready to see it. Obviously, really excited for the other men, Lucas and Ilia. I think that it's going to be a really cool event.
Yeah.
Thank you again so much for coming. And you can catch the men's event tonight at 5:15 Central Standard Time, and that's going to be on Peacock and E. So tune in, check that out. Up next, we're going to have the women's ladies practice, and stay tuned.
We welcome you to the most important annual event in American skating. It's anyone's game when the skaters take the ice tonight at Nationals. Ham and O'Shea win the gold medal. Simply the best in the world.
The way that he moves across the ice is just like butter.
March 25th through the 30th, 2025, the world comes to Boston and the TD Garden. Over 300 of figure skating's best will compete at the 2025 ISU World Figure Skating Championships for the title of World Champion. The world's most celebrated skating competition returns to Boston and the United States for the first time in 9 years, and you can be there. Advance tickets are on sale now. Visit isuworlds2025.com for more information and to buy your tickets today.